going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time here. If you like videos about prepping, survival, self-reliance, and other related topics, then be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on to be notified each time that I upload a brand new video. No doubt you've probably heard about the massacre that happened in Russia a few days ago. You know, the mass shooting there. And the first reports I had heard, it was 40 confirmed dead and over 100 wounded. However, now the most recent reports are that there's over 100 people that were murdered, massacred in that mass shooting in Russia, and I'm not sure how many was injured, but now it's over 100 people who are confirmed dead. And I also heard when it first came out that they were approximately 5 shooters, but now they're saying approximately 11 shooters. So the story keeps changing and the numbers keep going up. If you have that many people confined, you know, in a space like that at a concert, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. No disrespect to the people that passed away, but that's pretty much what it is, because they're trapped in that situation. And you know, if they case these places out and they're planning these attacks, they will have each exit, you know, blocked. They will have someone in that exit to block people from going out that way, or they will block it down so they can't get out that way, because they want to cause the most death and destruction as possible. No doubt these guys planned this attack, and they planned on having as many deaths as they possibly could. And in my video, I made a video right after this news broke a couple of days ago, and I talked about who I thought was responsible more than likely for this. I didn't know at the time, but I put 2 and 2 together and said who's most likely culprit to be behind this. And a lot of people came back in the comments and said that ISIS was taking responsibility for this attack. However, now more information is coming out that it was not ISIS, or, as I think that it probably was, it was a joint operation between ISIS and, I could be totally wrong, but that's just my opinion, and from the news and facts that's coming out now, that we're finding out new information, I was right in that first video. However, you know, that still doesn't bring all the people that passed away, that were murdered, back. And from what I have read, it was a lot of children that was murdered. And I know we've had some mass shootings here, we've had some death here from pretty much the same thing, but this was organized. And usually when we have a mass shooting here, it is one person, sometimes 2, but most of the time it's one individual, one psycho lunatic that does these things. There we see it was between 5 and 15. I don't know how many the number is now, what it's going to go through, but they're saying, like I said, 11 people armed with fully automatic weapons, or even semi-automatic weapons, or even bolt actions or pump action shotguns or handguns. That many people who are trained and know how to inflict mass casualties can do a lot of damage. And the goal, like I said, was to kill as many people as possible there in Russia, and it's the same with any other mass shooting. So, knowing and seeing this happen, and seeing this as becoming more of a likely terrorist attack, you know, it used to be, most of the terrorist attacks were, you know, suicide bombers. They would put on a vest, they'd walk into a room and boom, something like that, you know, or some other kind of explosive type situation. Now we're seeing more of these mass type shootings, and this proves just how effective that those can be. And I think they're going to be doing, it's going to be becoming more and more commonplace as time goes on, even here in the United States, because like I've talked about before, you know, we have a completely wide open southern border. United States criminals in DC are come one, come all, and the Republicans are just as bad as the Democrats. Both parties are completely worthless piles of dog shit, in my opinion. Republicans and Democrats, they are 2 sides of the same coin. They are the other wing on the same bird. It's the same group, same bunch that runs everything all the time. They run these politicians get in there and they just take their orders as they come down, and they vote the way they're told to vote, in my opinion. It's all rigged. They put up a fight, like, you know, the WWE, wrestling. They will argue and they will play fight and everything, but they already know the predetermined outcome. They put up a fight to act like they're on our side or trying to do something, but you see that It's always business as usual. Like this last funding bill, the Republicans put up a fight, but then they just caved in and gave in like they always do because it's already predetermined. Now, I was talking about the mass shootings happening here in the United States. I lost my track of thought from that point to this point now. Where was I at? Anyway, these are going to be becoming more and more commonplace here in the United States because the southern border is wide open. And we have more people coming through that want to do this country harm. The United States has done all kinds of things over the years in different countries. We've had many wars in the Middle East. They have done all kinds of, look at what Julian Assange brung to light. And that has happened a lot. And the United States has done all kinds of things that would be considered criminal, would be considered war crimes around the world over the years. And these people, that their families have suffered because of this, they hate the United States. It's not our fault, it's the government fault, the deep state military industrial complex. However, they see us as the enemy and are allowing this all to happen. Even though we didn't support all this stuff that happens, they see it we didn't stand up and stop it. We didn't stand up to our own government and put a stop to all the things the United States government and the military industrial complex that's completely criminal over the years. Everything they've done, we didn't try to stop it. We vote and hope for the best here in the United States. So they see us, as the enemy. And they don't care one bit. A lot of these people don't. And a lot of these people are coming across the border, in my opinion, because it's wide open. I mean, it's right there. They don't care to kill Americans. They don't care to do the same to American children. They don't care if you're white, black, or whatever either. If you're in that area where their attack is going to happen, they're going to take you out. They're going to try to. And I see this becoming more and more commonplace here in the United States. I'm surprised that it already is, to be honest about it. So you got to be alert. You can't be caught with your pants down, as the saying goes. You have to know, number one, that it could happen to you. No doubt, all the people who were at that concert in Russia didn't suspect they were going to be attacked. And the people who were killed didn't have no idea, didn't have a clue that they were going to be killed. That was the last place they're going to ever go. They walked in, they're having a good time. The next thing they know, they hear gunshots going off and they're dead. No one suspected it. No one thought about it because they thought that it couldn't happen to them or it wasn't going to happen to them. They went to have fun, enjoyed themselves, and they end up dying. So, get it in your head that you're not immune. That bad things happen here in the United States. We've had mass shootings here before in the United States. And like I said, they're going to continue to have such things occur here in the United States. And with the border wide open and enemies coming across the border from the north and the south with no doubt ill intent. And if you have like we've had 8 million that came across since Joe Biden has took office officially. But if you have out of the 8 million, say you had just a small percentage of people who want to do United States population harm, who want to do terrorist attacks inside the United States, just a small 1 or 2%, that's going to be a huge number of deaths when they do kick off what they're doing, or what they are planning on doing. So don't think that can't happen to you. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. You want to always be on alert and know that you're not immune. You're not protected here in the United States from these type of events. It can definitely happen to you or me. You could be somewhere shopping, for example. You could be in at Walmart shopping or anywhere, and this type of thing happen. It could be someone domestic or it could be someone foreign that came over here to cause mass death. You could be at church. You could be at a concert. You could be at a ball game. You could be doing anything where there's a crowd of people, and it increases your risk of being a target because these shooters want as many deaths as possible, so they will attack places that has a lot of people. So you want to be aware of that, know you're not immune, and realize that if you're in a crowd of people, that you definitely could be more of a target. Hopefully it never happens to you, but like I said, know that it can. So you want to be aware and know you're not immune and you're not 100% safe no matter where you are in here in the United States. And if you get into a crowd of people, like I said, at church, ball games, concerts, shopping, anywhere there's a lot of people, you become more of a target because of that concentration of people, because these terrorists, these shooters, want to cause mass death because they want to have more terror. If they can kill 20 people, to them it's a whole lot better than taking out one person. So that makes you more of a target when you're in confined spaces, especially, and with groups of people. You also want to be on alert. You want to always have situational awareness. If you see something that is going on that looks suspicious, or if you get this gut feeling, go with it. Don't ignore it. A lot of people get this gut feeling, they'll say, man, something just isn't right, but they will still go on anyway, ignoring that gut feeling. Go with your gut. If something tells you, if you get that feeling that something isn't right, that something's going to happen, go with it. Remove yourself from the situation or from the area. You also want to, if you possibly can, be armed at all times with a gun. Of course, follow all laws and city and state and federal laws, whatever, but you want to be armed at all times if possible. If you can't be armed where you're going to, then don't go. That's my advice. Don't go where you can't be armed at all times. And not just be armed, you want to know how to use what you have, and you want to be willing to actually defend yourself with that firearm. More than likely it's going to be a handgun, because it's going to be difficult to carry around a shotgun all the time, or AR-15, without getting a lot of attention. So more than likely it's going to be a handgun concealed, but you want to be able to use that to the highest efficiency. You want to be able to use that if needed without hesitation. If you can't actually use that, and you know deep down that you can't defend yourself, that you can't take aim, careful aim, squeeze the trigger, and put several bullets into a person that's trying to kill you or others, then you're probably better off not to have a handgun, not to carry it all, and try to figure out how you can escape. Work on your escape planning where you go to. You need to work on escape plan anyway. However, if you're armed, I think it's your duty to help defend others if something like this happens. But if you know deep down that you can't, then you're probably better off not to even go armed. There's just more weight you have to carry when you're trying to escape or trying to run away. But if you know you can, and you're trained, you're proficient, you want to go armed at all times, you want to have something, I think a Glock Model 19 is an excellent handgun with a couple extra magazines. If you have to go to these places and you have, body armor, you want to put that on. If you can, if you having to go somewhere where you fear that bad to wear body armor, then I wouldn't go at all. However, if you must go and you have body armor, you can put that on, kind of conceal that under your clothing. Well, everyone's not looking at you like you're a mass shooter or something like that. Some places it's not even legal to have body armor. So it's just something to consider. And in this case, like in Russia, they used rifles. And most body armor will just stop handgun rounds. And 22 rounds and, shotgun rounds. 223, 5.56, 308, rounds like that will go right through that typical body armor. Go through out both sides. I made a video when I first started my channel a long time ago. I actually tested different rounds on typical body armor. And I shot that with 22s, I shot it with 9mm, a 45, I shot it with a shotgun, and I also shot it with 223, and I think I actually shot with a 308, and it stopped everything besides the 223, and the 308. And even the 223 went through one side, out the other side, and kept on going. So it's not going to stop. Body armor is not going to stop, or a bulletproof vest, or a bullet-resistant vest, it should actually be stated. Isn't going to stop most rounds unless you have, a plate armor in there. But anyway, something to think about. If you have to go to these places, like I said, if you have to worry about it that much and it's that dangerous, then don't go. That's my advice. But if you have it and you have to go for some reason and you have that to put that on and go armed. Put that body armor on and go armed, and be aware of your surroundings at all times. It's sad we have to think about these things and talk about these things. We should be in peace, but unfortunately the powers that be don't want us to be in peace. They want us to be in fear. That's what the terrorist attacks are about. And our own government wants us to be in fear, because if we are not in fear, then we won't be reliant on the federal government. They want you to be reliant on them. They want you to look at them as being your saviors, your protectors, and you turn over all your freedom, all of your sovereignty to these people in government to protect you, to protect us. And that's what they want. If people aren't in constant fear, if people aren't in constant stress and in constant danger, they lose power. So they want to keep everyone in constant fear and constant stress and actually in constant danger, or at least the perceived reality of danger. Anyway, if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm the Creekmore Mountain. I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.